Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in this video we will see two examples on linear convolution. So I have already done a video on linear convolution, how to find the linear convolution. Okay, so if you have not seen that video, please pause here, go to that video, understand the concept of linear convolution and come back over here so that you will understand this concept easily. Okay, so I'm just writing the answers for this, and the procedure I have explained in my previous video. Okay, I'm also giving the link of the playlist in the description, so you can see there about linear convolution, and then come back here so to understand these two gate problems. Okay, so if you are given with y of n, so in this question, so you are given with output and also input, and you are asked to find the impulse response h of n. So for such type of questions, we have to first find whether you have to perform linear convolution or circular convolution. The first task here is whether you have to find linear convolution or circular convolution. Okay, so in linear convolution, if input has m samples and x of n has m samples and h of n has n samples, then output y of n will have m plus n minus 1 samples. Similarly, in circular convolution, if x of n has m samples and h of n has n samples, then y of n will have maximum of m comma n samples. Okay, so if you observe here, x of n has 4 samples and y of n has 7 samples. Okay, so that means h of n has, so you have to find the linear convolution, and h of n will have 4 samples. H of n will have 4 samples, so that it will be 4 plus 4 minus 1, which is equal to 7 samples here. If you observe, there are 7 samples in the output here. Okay, so that is what you have to find, right? So if you have 4 samples, let us assume that h of n is equal to a, b, c, d, a, b, c and d. Okay, so now we have to perform the linear convolution between x of n and h of n. Okay, so I have already given you the concept a, b, c, d on this axis, and 1, 2, 3, 4 on this axis. So just have to multiply one with a, one with b, one with c, and this one with d. Okay, so this total element must be multiplied with this total row. So 1 into a, 1 into b, 1 into c, and 1 into d. Similarly, in the second row, if you want to write in second row, then 2 must be multiplied with this entire row. Okay, so this becomes 2a, 2b, 2c and 2d. Next, 3 is multiplied with this row. So 3a, 3b, 3c and 3d. Similarly, 4 must be multiplied, so we'll get 4a, 4b, 4c and 4d. Okay, so next we have to divide this. Okay, divide this line. Okay, so these are the samples of linear convolution. So this is h of n and this is x of n. Therefore y of n is equal to, so these are the values. A, you just have to add all the elements like this. So since only one element is there, you have written like this, but in the second row, second division here, you have 2 elements, 2a and b, you have to add them, 2a plus b. And in the third, you have to add all the 3a plus 2b plus c. Next, 4a plus 3b plus 2c plus d. And next, 4b plus 3c plus 2d. Okay, 4b plus 3c plus 2d. Next is 4c plus 3d, and last is 4d. Okay, so this is y of n. when you have taken h of n is equal to ABCD. But given y of n is equal to 1, 4, 8, 11, 9, 1, minus 4. Okay, so just equate the corresponding elements. So A is equal to 1. Okay, so because both represents y of n only. Okay, so both represents y of n only, you can equate the elements at the corresponding positions. That is, first element in this will be equated with the first element in this. Similarly, last element in this is equated with the last element in this. So when you equate those two, A becomes 1. When you equate last element, what will be? Minus 4D is equal to minus 4. So D is equal to minus 1. So D becomes minus 1. Okay, so D becomes minus 1. And then from this equation, what will be? 4C plus 3D. So 4C plus 3D is equal to 1. So we have already got the value of D as minus 1. So 4C plus 3 into minus 1 is equal to 1. So 4C minus 3 is equal to 1. So 4C is equal to 4. So C is equal to 1. Similarly, if you equate 2A plus B to 4, 2A plus B is equal to 4. So A value we have got it as 1. So 2 into 1 is 2 plus B is equal to 4. So what will be B value? 2. Therefore, h of n is equal to, so h of n is equal to ABCD. So A value is 1, B value is 2, C value is 1, and D value is minus 1. Okay, so this is how we can find h of n. Okay, so if you have given with x of n and h of n, you can find y of n. Okay, so this is what I have explained you in the previous video, where I have already explained the concept of linear convolution. So if you are given with output and input, you can find the impulse response like this. Okay, using the concept of linear convolution. Okay. So next we'll see another problem which is a previous gate problem. So in this problem he has given that a discrete LTI system has impulse response of h of n with h of 0 and h of 1 he has given, and h of 2 is also given, and 0 otherwise. Okay, and the system is given with input, so he has given some values of input and 0 otherwise, and he has asked to find the number of non-zero samples in the output, y of n, and also the value of y of 2. Okay, so from the given data, what can we write is h of n we can write, because h of n is equal to 1 and minus 1 at instance 0. So he has given that h of 0 is equal to 1. That means at n is equal to 0, h of n value is equal to 1. So h of 1 is equal to minus 1 means, so at n is equal to 1, h of n value is equal to minus 1. So always the sequence starts from 0. So when the sequence starts from 0, obviously it is a causal sequence. So when it is a causal sequence, so we can write 1 here. Okay, so when n is equal to 0, and minus 1 when n is equal to 1, and h of 2 is also given, which is equal to 2. So this is what h of n is, and 0 for all other values, and 0 for all. So this is existing only for 3 values, that is for 0, 1 and 2. So it is existing for only n is equal to 0, 1 and 2. Okay, so that is what we have got from the question only. Similarly, we can write x of n. So x of n is equal to, so starting with 0, so x of 0 value is equal to 1. So he has given 0 otherwise, and he has not given any value for n is equal to 1. So n is equal to 1 will be 0, and x of 2 is equal to 1. Okay, so you should not write 1 here. So you cannot write x of n is equal to 1 comma 1. So this is wrong, because when a sequence starts from 0, its value of n next is 1, not 2. So this is the value of x of 2, but the value of x of 1 you have to write, then you can have to write the value of x of 2. Okay, so in order only you have to write. So if it is not given here, in this case it is not given, so we'll write it as 0. Okay, so but you should not write like this. Okay, so this is the important thing which you have to remember. So right, once you got x of n and h of n, so we have to find whether you have to perform linear or circular convolution. When it is circular convolution, so the number of samples will be only 3. So here in the options, if you see, it is 5 and 6. So obviously you have to perform linear convolution only. Okay, because linear convolution, so number of samples here is 3 in x of n, and number of samples here is 3. So 3 plus 3 minus 1, so which is equal to 5 samples. But he has not asked you number of samples, number of non-zero samples. Number of non-zero samples only has asked. Okay, so first of all you have to find the output, and you have to find the non-zero samples, that is the samples whose value is not equal to 0. Okay, so first we will perform y of n, that is convolution between these two signals, right? So on x-axis x of n, on y-axis h of n, 1 minus 1 2. Okay, so x of n here and h of n here, right? So we have to multiply 1 with this total row, so 1 0 1, so minus 1 this with this total row, so it will be minus 1 0 minus 1, so 2 with this row, it will be 2 0 2, and divide that as we have performed previously. Okay, so then y of n is equal to, so in the first row column or first division you have only 1, in the second division 0 added with minus 1 is minus 1, so next row 2 plus 0 plus 1, 2 plus 0 plus 1 is 3, and in the fourth row, so 0 plus of minus 1 is minus 1, and last row is only one column or one element, so it is 2. Okay, so this is your y of n. So this starts from n is equal to 0, this is for n is equal to 1, this is for n is equal to 2, this is for n is equal to 3, and this is for n is equal to 4. Okay, so he has asked non-zero samples, so if you observe, each and every sample is a non-zero sample, so total number of non-zero samples is 5. Total number of non-zero samples is 5, and of y of n, so 5 is the answer. First, for the first one 5 is the answer, and he has asked to find the value of y of 2. So y of 2 means y of n at n is equal to 2, its value is going to be 3. So 5 comma 3 is the answer, that is option D. Okay, so this is how we can solve any problem based on convolution problems. Okay, so remember the concept and know the procedure how to perform this. Okay.